There we go.
All right, give me one second. Yeah, bro, because I was like, yeah, this week it's a crazy week, bro. I was like, we got Black Widow and we got the last episode of Loki, bro. I was like, I definitely got to get somebody up on here to say something. I know somebody want to explain something on here.
No, I feel it. I feel it.
I'm trying to think what I should start off with first because, bro, it's a lot I want to say with both, bro. Because, bro, I like how they connecting everything together. Like you seeing each of them have some type of connection. You, especially if you see the like the Black Widow one. Did you see? You said you seen that one in theaters, or you watched that on streaming?
And at the drive-in.
Oh, driving. Oh, okay. Oh, that's
Yeah.
cool. Oh, that's what's up. Sure.
So shoot, we could probably talk about Loki because that's the one that just came out yesterday. And for the
Right.
most part we all seen it.
Right, for surely, bro. Because that last, or we might as well just go back off the last episode where they enchanted the little creature and they got past a little void and all like that, and they basically seen
Yeah.
this because at first when I first seen it, I'm thinking it's like a castle or something like that. I was like kind of confused. I didn't know if it was in the quantum realm. Like from a distance, I didn't have no idea what it could have been. That's why I was having speculation. Like could it be maybe Doctor Doom, or you know what I'm saying, we were saying Kang, and like we were just having just speculation. So now we finally see who actually is, and it's like when I first I was like, dang, I'm surprised like we actually seen him so soon like this. But it's like Kang is a big villain, so this is somebody you want to build up, starting with a show like this. So I feel like it was definitely on point how they started off. But yeah, bro, it
But
was good.
but though I don't know too much about Kang. I know a little bit, but not a whole lot. But I gotta say though, from what I do know, Kang is a big villain.
Yeah,
But right now, from Loki's standpoint, he's not considered a villain.
not
We haven't
necessarily
really
yet.
seen we haven't really seen the villain side of Kang just yet. We see the more this is like we see the more so of this version of Kang where it's like, okay, I'm calm, I'm collective, I got my mind right and everything because the other me's like the other variants in a
Hmm.
sense. Like, those are the villains.
Right, yeah. And I think that's really like basically the whole origin of this character. Like, well, I'm like where they going with this because like even based off the comments, there's different versions of this character. Like because he's based
Right.
off the future and time and all like that. So, like you said, like the one we know is the one with like he got the blue face with the helmet and all like that. And it's like he said he claimed he was a ruler, the emperor and the conqueror and all like that. So there's different like variants of him for surely. Even though we see
The
that's what I was
moment he
thinking.
said conqueror, I knew it.
Exactly right. So I'm kind of glad he put it out that he was kind of explaining like his history and like how his character come about because it's like it even showed like how Sylvie killed him off. Like shows like it still ain't gonna fade him away. He's still gonna find a way to come back in some type of way or fashion. So I feel that's what his character will be like going forward, which would be it would definitely be a lot of plot twists to that for sure.
And you know what? And that's the thing too, because like when they go through, let's just say the portal, the moment you kind of see that time strip, I was like, okay, this is the time strip here. This is what's actually keeping time in play. This is the time stream right here.
Right.
You
Hmm.
know? And
Yeah.
then I'm like, okay, this little voided area is what he decided to use as his home to keep everything in line. So when he was explaining, like, why the TVA needs to be there and why he had to do the way he did it, that's why you look at him as a villain. But realistically, I think I looked into this like maybe like one or two episodes ago, and I was like, the TVA is there for a reason, but how they're going about doing it is wrong.
Right.
It almost takes you back to the Killmonger in Black Panther. It's like what his point is justified, but the actions are not. So that's how I looked into this with the TVA. So for him to have been like the moment like he was explaining himself to Loki and Sylvie, you could see Loki's face where he's like okay, you're making some good points here. And for me, I'm looking at Loki's face and I'm like, he's thinking about this. He's thinking how well this actually can play out.
Right.
But Sylvie's not seeing that.
Exactly right. Yeah. that was another thing. How it was basically just creating tension between both these other characters. You know what I'm saying? Like, because you see, it's like her character is like she can't trust anybody. Where it's like with Loki, it's like he can't be trusted at all. So it's like we was wondering how that was even that dynamic was even gonna work with them. You know what I'm saying? But this
Right.
definitely pushed it to like over the limit with this one because it's like she been waiting her whole life for this moment. You know what I'm saying? So it's like she don't want to come. She don't want nobody to mess that up for her. So I definitely kind of understood both points. I ain't even gonna lie, it was kind of good how they played that off for sure, bro. That was man. But even like,
I, go
uh,
on.
oh no, you go ahead, bro.
I was going to say, at the moment, I actually wanted 8 episodes, but how well they did it, I'm like, 8 episodes might have actually been a little too long.
Right, or it could have been just like episode that's just gonna be completely just you know what I'm saying, just like had no value to it. You know what I'm saying? Could have been like a
Right. So
pointless
that's why I'm like, how
episode.
they ended this one was perfect.
Yeah,
This is one of those cliffhangers where I'm not mad about the cliffhanger.
that's exactly why. Because at first I was kind of surprised there wasn't no post credit scene at first, but then I'm thinking like this even just based on what I seen with the episode, I'm like I'm gonna be honest, I'm satisfied with this because it's like I was wondering if we was gonna ever see this character like eventually like this. You know what I'm saying? So I was just like it's cool, but they already put there's gonna be a second season, so I'm like it's cool, it's all good. That's fine
Yeah.
enough for me. I'll go with that. That's fine. And I think we
But I
getting
think
the
the second season is going to be taking place, I want to say, after Doctor Strange 2.
yeah, cause that's why I'm really confused with that one. It's like even with how this first one started off, we didn't know necessarily where the timeline was gonna be with Loki. Like we knew he was gonna have to test right and everything, but it was like we didn't know how forward they was gonna go with this. But it's like now we seeing that it's playing a big part of this multiverse now. Cause at first I'm thinking it could have been WandaVision or you know what I'm saying, or like the other show that was before this. So I'm just like, dang, this one is really just opening doors for a lot of things right now, bro.
And honestly, I'm loving it.
Yeah,
Like
bro.
I'm not gonna lie, like you heard me say it in the past streams, and I was like, it seems a little bit messy. But now, because of this, I'm like, now it's not that. I feel like it's not going to be that messy because I was actually talking to my wife about it, and she was like, like it may seem messy, but it's really not because they have to have everything build up. So
Right.
that's why I'm like, okay, like you heard me say, I was like, it's messy because I don't know where what direction they're going with this as far as Shang-Chi and the Eternals. So that's why I was kind of like, okay, if the Eternals are like, that was kind of my main thing with the Eternals portion of it. I'm like, okay, why are they just now stepping in and what are they stepping in for?
Right.
But now because of Kang, I'm like, okay, if they're using Kang as a reason for them now to step in,
Yeah.
all bets are off. Like it's go time now. We're good.
Right. Yeah. Now
I
it's
still
like
got me questioning, but it's good.
for surely, bro. Because like you just said, like we was wondering like all these new projects they was coming out with. We didn't understand like what kind of connection they had to this universe. But like you said with this last one, it's like knowing that this character is like a big villain like this, and he's based off time travel and just based off the future and the present. It's like bro, it's crazy, bro. Like he can open up a lot of opportunities with this. You can bring the Fantastic Four up in this. You can like now we saying like the characters we've been waiting for to get up in here. Like now we can like they can use this big villain like this to bring him like the characters up in here.
They could actually now use this to introduce X-Men. They can now do it.
Yep, and like I'm saying them and Fantastic Four too, because they play a big part in Secret Invasions and Secret Wars too.
I'm not gonna lie. I don't think we're gonna really stop seeing Kang, and because where are we in now? 21. We may actually not see Kang be defeated until maybe 2026, maybe 27.
Yeah, bro.
We got a good amount with Kang alone, and to be like, okay, now he's defeated. So like how the saga was called the Infinity Saga because it was all about the stones. That's what it was about. It was all about the Infinity Stones.
Right.
I'm gonna call it, and I'm gonna call this new saga the Time Dimension Saga, because that's what it's all about. It's about time, and it's about the dimensions. When I
Right.
talked to my wife about it, she was like, the previous saga was like, it was about friendship and family. Like, you look at all the movies, and it's like, what is the ultimate theme? Friends and family.
Mm-hmm.
You look at Phase 4 going forward now. You're like, okay, this is about time and dimensions. That's what it's about. So it's about time and dimensions.
Right.
So So we're gonna call it TDS or DTS. Time Dimension Saga.
Yeah, guys. I mean, yeah, you can tell because most of these characters, like you said, is they're going. Well, it makes sense because if you see where we at with the stones like that, we already knew that was gonna cause like a big like effect to this universe where it's like it could open up a lot of doors for the
Yeah.
alternate. You know what I'm saying? Reality. What's up? What's up, Solo? What's good, man?
Yo, what up? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Up, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, bro. We
Hey guys, what can y'all see me?
nah, I can't. I can hear you, but I can't see you.
Oh, wait.
I think it's a way you can turn your camera up on there. But yeah, bro, we just now just getting into talking about Jonathan
There you
Majors
go.
with Kang. Yep. So yeah, bro, it's this episode is crazy. Like I just seen him come out that elevator, bro. I was just like, oh, bro, like, oh, it's him, bro. It's about to get real. It kind of gave me that vibes. Was like when I seen Thanos at the end of that the Avengers show. It was like, oh, like now I'm seeing they're really about to build something up to this character. Now I was like, oh, damn, like it's crazy. Like, and I like how they.
Can we appreciate how he's not actually blue?
Oh
Can we
yeah.
appreciate that?
We
though?
probably gonna eventually might see that going forward though, possibly.
I want that to happen, but just for a first appearance,
Oh yeah.
I'm
'Cause-
happy he's not blue.
But you remember how he put it out like he was just based off just flesh and blood and all like that. Like there's different versions and variations like of like
Yeah.
Kang. So like I think that's how they gonna do it first. Where it's like they gonna show more of his human side first, and then they gonna show how it is like how he is in the future. Where he got when he has to have the helmet on like that. So I think that's probably gonna do it. But that's why I was wondering like in Ant-Man or maybe like if they put him in the Avengers movies, that's when we'll probably see him in like the suit that we know him from like the comics and all like that. Because at that point, they'll probably kill them off or maybe, but you know how Kang is, he could find a way to come back in some type of way, especially if we going anything like you said based off time dimension like that. We gonna for sure see him again if we felt like we killed him off, you know what I'm saying? So it's like that's somebody we can't even just rule out. So yeah, you can definitely do a lot with this dude for surely. And it's like with Ant-Man, you know they can't just finish him off with Ant-Man, even though you'll find a way to try to just feel like you finished him off, but he gonna return in some type of fashion.
I think what they're gonna do is have it be that they're gonna finish off of a variant of him in
Yeah.
Ant-Man.
Exactly, yep.
I think that's how they're going to do it.
And then we'll probably get even more. Like he said, it's like the other one is like based off like it seemed like this one was just had more heart. You know what I'm saying? This one was just more like even though he seemed he had like a slightly evil ways, but he wasn't necessarily the evil Kang that we all know of. Like he said, it's more variants of him that's more evil than him. So I'm like, I know eventually we're gonna see them other evil variants, especially the fact that this one just died. So it's like, you're gonna run into them more, and it's like I could tell like. You see, he was having more fun with his character, but I know the one that we gonna see going forward, he's gonna be way different than the one we just seen in this last episode. He's gonna be way more ruthless for sure.
Way different.
Way more
different.
ruthless, bro. Because Kang is definitely he's one of the ruthless villains too for surely. Man.
So that's what I'm saying. This about to be stupid lit.
Yeah, bro. So what you feel about this episode, bro?
Man, this episode was tight, man. This episode was crazy. I was like, what the heck? Hey, it was really. I mean, I like how they actually combined He Who Remains and like Kang. You know what I'm saying? Because it was cool to see both of them. Like I knew as soon as I seen the actor, I was like, oh snap! Like, where that's the actor that played Kang. Like, oh snap! But I was like, but once Miss Minutes was like, oh no, like He Who Remains, blah 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 blah, and like this is, you made it. I was like, oh shoot. But yeah, man, it was cool, bro. It was really cool, and I like how, like, man, Sylvie, man, bro, she really messed up, bro. Like even Loki was like he the god of lies, bro. Like he knew, like, hey, like I like the part where he was like, where she was like he's lying, and then that way Loki was like, no, I know people that lie, right? Because like I'm the god of lies, like you know what I'm saying, like,
Right.
like, I know, but I ain't lying. And then the fact that like she really betrayed him, I wonder if that's gonna do something to him, like as far as like how he sees, quote unquote, because what is called what it is. Like he was basically falling in love with her pretty much.
Yeah.
But I wonder if like if this is gonna like change him in that way. And I wonder like since it's like gonna be different multiverses now, I wonder if Sylvie is going to be Enchantress in another multiverse, because as we seen, like Mobius in B-15 didn't even know who he was. They was like, "What's your name?" Like,
right.
you know what I'm saying? I wonder if everybody's gonna be like different characters, like or different name. Like you know what I'm saying? Like I don't
Right.
know. So it was pretty
Yeah.
interesting.
You could be right, bro, because it's like you see how we seen them different variants of Loki. You know what I'm saying? We seen an alligator and one with millimeter. It's like we
Exactly.
seen so many different versions. It's like
Yeah.
you don't know how they gonna do it with these characters. But I mean, I think you could be on point with that, bro, for surely, bro. Because we gonna already see variants of Spider-Man going forward. So it's like I feel like in maybe Doctor Strange 2, like where this is like a cosmic character that based off he could fix everything. We gonna probably see more of them like variants of most of them heroes that we all grew up off of. You know what I'm saying? Like,
And and you know what? I was telling my wife about this. I'm like, with the time stream, if you look at it, it's not like it's actually an ongoing stream. If you look at it, it's in a circle. So what does that tell you? It's an infinite loop. So
Yeah.
when he was saying like, yeah, I know everything that what you're gonna say, when you're gonna say it, how it's gonna happen. I've studied it. He said, but I don't know. He said I lied though.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going to happen now.
Yeah.
Of course he doesn't know because he dies before so he dies, and then you can kind of start seeing the different time branches just going
yeah,
off in all different types of directions. And if you look at it, it's almost like it's about to shatter, as if it's almost been like the time loop has been enclosed in something. So now it may actually go off forever. But what I think is going to happen is it's going to repeat itself. So kind of like how they were talking about before, where there was the multi-dimensional war. That
yeah,
war is actually going to happen again, and
Yeah.
then and it's just going to keep looping. It's just going to keep looping over and over again. I think that's what's going to happen in the
Yeah.
ultimate end. I think that's actually what's going to happen, and I would actually enjoy that.
yeah, bro. Because I'm like you said, now we can possibly see an X-Men versus Avengers. Like you can find so many ideas to bring these fights in. Because most of especially if you think of most of the important characters in the Marvel universe, how they brought them in MCU. They brought them in like through like most of the movies where it's like most of them have to fight each other, like Civil War or even like First Avengers, how they all had to butt heads before they came together. So you can use that to bring like the X-Men characters and all like that, because you already know they can't just, especially if it's based off something where they know they have to say the universe they come together. But if it's outside of that, they'll just basically just fight each other before it come down to it. So I'm like, you can definitely use this storyline to bring these characters up in here. That's why I'm thinking like we was talking about the Sinister Six after all these years, but now I'm like, now we got this now. You can for surely bring them up in through this now. Now it makes sense why they'll bring 3 like Spider-Man up in this. Like you can have each version, each variant of the Sinister Six up in this now. Like that's why I was like, why? What's up with all these villains I was hearing at first? But I'm like, now I can see like they could possibly do this with each Spider-Man, how they can have their own versions of Sinister Six. I'm like, damn, that would be crazy to see that. Like, yeah.
Yeah,
And
I liked. You know what? It was a trip. It was a trip how fast Kang changed that reality. Like
Yeah.
that way, Loki like had just got back and was like,
it
and
was,
then B-15 and Mobius just was about to try to start helping people and telling everybody about what was going on, and then boom, but like they just completely like their mind was somewhere else. Like, like Brad's crazy.
you're the analyst, right?
Yeah, right. That's crazy because that reminded me
That was
of.
crazy.
I felt like that was like a callback to the Planet of the Apes movie. It was kind of like when he got shipped to that planet, and it was like at first he think everything is normal, but then when he see that statue of that ape, he knew something was off, and he knew something like about stuff wasn't right. You know what I'm saying? Like now he knowing he's on a different planet. Now he know he's completely just lost with it. So I was like, dang, like that's completely what that reminded me of. But it was like. Even when we seen the timekeepers and all that, even when we seen that statue from like the beginning of that Loki season, like we just knew something wasn't right about that. You know what I'm saying? Like something just wasn't adding up. Especially how they was explaining all that, like how they was explaining how all this go. I'm like, we should have been knew about this TVA if that was the case, bro. It had to be somebody behind this, bro. But it's like the fact that we know it's Kang. It's like you don't know what else he could have just put out there. It could be more than just a TVA. You don't even ever know.
Right? You never really know. And like I said, I enjoyed this Loki series. I would probably have to say it's still my favorite between Loki and WandaVision, because it seems like they're both going to play a good part in this. Because you're gonna have Doctor Strange in his movie, and I think he's also making an appearance in the Spider-Man movie. And Loki, I think they actually just confirmed that Loki will be in
Yeah.
Doctor Strange too.
Yeah.
And I think Wanda will also be there. So I'm like, okay, so we're kind of getting like, a little bit of a bouncing back and forth thing here. So
Yeah.
it's going to be very, very interesting because, like you said, like this whole Loki series kind of like really, I'd say, opened up. It, I would kind of place it on what is it like Avengers Age of Ultron, because like that's why Age of Ultron is one of my favorite ones. It's because when you really think about what Age of Ultron is, it really opened up the branch to what the Infinity Stones were, and you kind of like really see the full relationship between the Avengers. So when you kind of
Yeah.
look at Loki now, it's like, okay, you have like such a broad imagination of what you can do with this, just from like when they like where they go when they're pruned, like why the TVA is there, who created the TVA, why the timekeepers, why Kang. Like it's so much that you can do. So that's why they have to make it a season two, because there's a lot that they're gonna have to deal with. There's gonna be probably Loki having to recruit Mobius and uh what is her name, like Agent 20, something like that.
B
Like, it's
15.
her.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, it's going to be all these different variations of what can happen, and I wouldn't be surprised if that's when Ant-Man comes involved with the
Yeah,
quantum with the quantum realm. Because like, okay, we messed up here, now we got to try to go through here and try to reset it.
yeah,
Mm. Yeah, bruh. I could definitely see that one for surely, bro.
yeah, man. I could, man. Yeah, I'm just like, man.
Like, not
it's
trying to get too off subject, but that's why I'm like, Loki is playing that. Loki series one, season one, is playing the part from what Age of Ultron was playing that part.
Right,
right.
because
Is I
it's
feel like it's like that connection.
yeah, because at the time when that movie came out, we was because the way I look at Age of Ultron is completely different now. Because like I said, when you see like the characters, like for instance, like Wanda, and because we was wondering like how we seen how Quicksilver got killed off in that, we was wondering like what was the whole point behind that. But now you see how they made WandaVision, how they was like putting that as like part of her trauma and all like that, to like based off her powers and all like that. So I was like, I see how they're like
Yeah,
they're definitely trying to like go back off like based off the stories, based off most of these characters. Cause some of them, because it's like you have to get the first five original Avengers. You definitely have to wrap their story up, but it's like you definitely can't leave the ones that just got recruited, the ones they recruited too. So I feel like that's what they're trying to do now, like. Cause it's her, it's Falcon, and then in terms of Loki, I feel that's what I liked about Loki, cause it's like we seen it from a villain perspective now, cause most of everything has been based off just the Avengers and all like that. But now it got me wondering, and it's Doctor Strange too, because like in each of these shows we watched, like we always like kind of put out there who could have possibly been the villain was, but it was always somebody behind closed doors that we didn't know about in each of these shows we watched. Like from WandaVision, like
right.
Tay would tease about Mephisto and all like that, but we found it was Agatha. We was saying General Ross with the Falcon Winter Soldier, but it ended up, you know what I'm saying, it just ended up just being John Walker. Like it just could be somebody behind us, and they keep saying it can be Wanda, like is the main villain, but it has to be definitely somebody more we just don't know about in this. Well, I mean, it could be just Kang, and it can be like a connection to Kang and like Wanda in this Doctor Strange. You know what I'm saying? It could be that too.
And that's all I was saying too with Loki, because when you see just the different variations of Loki, that's why I liked it too. How they were like, because I was like, okay, but with there being so many different variations of Loki here, it has to be just where like if like when Mobius got pruned, maybe he goes to a place where just people like it's maybe just like variants of him
Yeah.
that goes like, because Loki went there, but it's like, okay, no, the reason why all these Lokis are there, it's not because that's just Loki prune section. No, that's where everybody goes. But like Loki said, he said we're manipulators, but we're also survivors, which is
Right.
why they survived for so long within that state. And then how they say it's at the end of time. That's why I'm like, is it really actually at the end of time, or is it in a specific time branch that got pruned? Because
Right.
if you look at the old Avengers Tower, it says, I think it's QENG, which is kind of like which is like Kang's
King.
Tower, I believe it
King's
is.
Tower. Yep.
That,
That's the
that had
thing.
like they had to prune that whole thing. So it was like, okay, did they just prune it to where it goes to a whole different spectrum. It goes to a whole different time stream, and that's why they can't get out. Is because it's it's realistically somewhere you can't get out of, which is why when Sylvie was able to, like, basically manipulate Eliath, and she went to where He Who Remains is, because now that she's there, it's like, okay, I see everything. So now if I want to send you through it, I can, because this is where our time stream is.
Right, yeah, bro. They definitely play that
Yeah.
off good, bro. Because even with this Kane character, bro, you can see he having so much fun with this character, and it's like, bro, this is just like the first piece of the pie we getting, bro. Like, we're gonna see, like you said, we're gonna see multiple variants of this character. Like, by the time we see, and we don't even know if he can be, even by the time we get to like the next Avengers movie, bro, we don't even know if they'll finish him off then, bro. Like, you can do a lot with him, bro. Like, you can bring really all these new characters up in here with this character now, because like he said, he's playing so many multiple universes, just of this adventures he's been on, like of each of these like universes and like that. So I'm like, they wanted to, they could just explore that, because it could be a character, you know what I'm saying, that we know about that could have been part of that timeline, you know what I'm saying. I'm like, so I was like, dang, he's saying he was bringing up all this history. I'm like, dang, bro. I'm like, he could have been talking about something from the comics they could have possibly shown in the future or something like that, bro. I'm like, damn, that would be crazy, bro. Yeah, but I definitely like this dude playing Kang, bro, because you could tell, bro, he is definitely having fun with it for surely, bro.
Oh yeah, everyone was enjoying himself.
Yeah, bro.
Say that we knew that Miss Mint was behind it 100%.
Yeah, I didn't know if it was
a little too cool.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I like, to be honest, I'm not gonna lie, like, I did like suspect a little bit of something, but I didn't think like she actually. Well, then again, I was like, yeah, I feel like she does. I was like, whoever. I really thought like obviously like she was made up too, but then I knew, what was her name, Ravonna, or whatever, or something.
Yeah, Ravonna.
Yeah, I knew for a fact she had something to do with it. And I was just like, dang. But then when Miss Minutes was at the end, she was like, "You made it." I was like, "Dang, that's crazy." Like,
that gave me a jump scare. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, she was too like.
Yeah, that's what I was like.
Too
dang.
Smooth, like you said. Like she just wasn't worried about nothing. I was just like, hold on.
And you see her reaction though. She was like, "Hey, you made it," and it's like, so you were expecting me?
Right? Exactly.
Like you were expecting me. That's what it was. You were okay. Now hear me out. Hear me out on this though.
Yeah.
Didn't it seem like when they were walking through and you see the statues of the 3 time variants, didn't it look like that there was a 4th one, but it was destroyed? It looked like there was possibly a 4th statue, but it was destroyed. Was it not?
I didn't even peep that part. I didn't even peep it.
You know what was interesting to me? Like, speaking of statues, how, I don't know, because I was thinking like, obviously the only entities, right, that pretty much are pretty much at the end of time or controlling time and space and all that. I was like, Eternity, right, Living Tribunal, different characters like that. Speaking of statues, I was kind of like thrown off when they had like Living Tribunal's statue, like the head in the dirt. I was like, what does that mean? Like, what is that a symbol of, right? Like, I was like, right? That was weird to me. So I was just like, I don't know. Like, I'm gonna have to go back and watch and see and see that scene again. Is that when they had just got to that mansion or whatever?
Yep. In fact, if you won't, I can actually try to show it to you.
Okay,
so,
for sure.
Yeah,
Let me see.
Yeah, cause I was about to say, I didn't even peep that part. With this statues.
I'm trying to see if it'll let me share it real quick.
I ain't gonna lie, when we saw Jonathan Majors or whatever.
You see that?
Who is it? Let me see.
Let me see.
Oh,
it's just
it says watch stream.
Yeah, watch stream.
Hold on.
Where'd it go?
Oh, I get what you're saying. Like, because it's like it only shows 3, but it looks like it should be a box.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, you're right. Like, it's like one of them got destroyed.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. So let me try to back it up a little bit more again.
Quick theory. Do you think that statue that's missing is the one that Loki saw at the end of Kang?
Hmm.
Maybe. I was kind
right?
of thinking that. I'm like, maybe it is Kang.
Right? Like, I feel like that would be kind of clever. Like, yeah, I see, yeah, because it's three of them, but it looks like it should be
If you think
like
about the
mirrors.
end, it was just one at the end when he realized it could have been just that one right there, right?
Yeah, right. I'm
I
like,
don't. I don't think they necessarily. I don't think they destroyed it so that way they can move it. I think. I think it was just more so.
I think it
It
was just
was
more
the
tricking
fourth.
him,
I
like
think
trying
it
to
was the
slime.
fourth timekeep. To be honest, maybe these three timekeepers that were robots were actually timekeepers. But then he was like, maybe they were like, it could very well be different variants of Kang. And then he was like, no, we're gonna do this, but instead of it being four of us, we need to just have one. So I'm gonna kill you off, and then it's gonna be like, you
uh,
know what? To kind of make it better, I'm gonna destroy my own statue and just
yeah,
have it be these three
yeah,
to make it seem like it was always just three and never four.
yeah, yeah,
But there was a fourth one. Like it could be a situation like that.
yeah.
When
That
I
would make
seen it, I
sense.
was like, "There's the fourth statue, and we don't know who that is."
He
Right.
caught that. He was like, "What? Yeah, that's true. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, man.
that's actually that's pretty cool.
Yeah, boy. That
That's actually that's a good
Did they
statement
confirm
for
when the
sure.
season 2 gonna come out? They just only just confirmed it was just gonna be a second season, huh?
Yeah. So I like I said, I don't think they're gonna do a season two until Doctor Strange 2 is finished.
Right?
Yeah, for sure. I
So
think that's gonna be coming out. What
I,
was that next year? I think. Doctor Strange.
if, I don't think Doctor Strange comes out until 23. To be honest.
Mm. I'm about to say that's a minute. Well, I think the next one we getting is What If. I think that's on the
Bruh.
11th. I think. I wonder if that's playing
Yeah,
like if
No,
that's
bruh.
actually playing like they're teasing, like basically 'cause we're in the multiverse now for sure. Like we know that for surely now. So I'm like, it's
Yeah.
weird how we getting this show based off that. I'm like, are they just giving us like just a taste of what we can actually see in live action going forward? Like I wonder like that's what this really is. At first I'm thinking, does this play any part like this canon to the MCU? I was wondering if it was or not. So yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
that'd be cool.
that's what I was looking at though too because I was just looking it up. So Doctor Strange does actually come out next year. I think it's Ant-Man that comes out in 2 years.
Yeah,
So
Ant Man and Thor: Love and Thunder come out 2023, February and May. I was like,
Mm.
dang, that's so long.
Yeah, that's a
yeah, so it's
minute.
like I said, I
Yeah.
can definitely see them having Loki coming season 2 coming out maybe late next year or early 2023. Just because he now has to do the filming for Doctor Strange 2, and if he is going to be in uh Thor: Love and Thunder, which I don't think he's going to be in that one.
Yeah.
So
Maybe. I don't know.
that'd be too soon to bring him in. Not unless you're going to have
Yeah.
him in a post credit scene.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wait, did they actually just say that Tobey Maguire will be in Multiverse of Madness? Is that confirmed?
I hope so.
Ah, right. That's all I'm about to say. I'm not sure, but it seemed like they've been saying a lot. Like they're continuing his story. It seemed like I don't really hear too much about Andrew Garfield. I know he's playing a part in Spider-Man 3, but in terms of like anything outside of that movie, I'm hearing a lot of things with Tobey Maguire. It seemed like I don't know why. That'd be crazy if they finish the story because I mean he was like technically he was the first Spider-Man, so I'm like it would make sense to wrap his story up first if it comes down to it.
Right.
I mean, I didn't mean to go off subject there, but it just caught me off guard. I was like,
Oh
"What?"
no, it's good because I'm like we already about to, bro. We had the multiverse at this point. It's going at this point. We already off with this because boy, this story is everywhere at this point now. You see what Sylvie just did as soon as she stabbed this boy. He literally it's crazy how he literally just said what like he literally just basically told her what he was going like what she was going to do before he even did it. Like that's all. Like
Yep.
did he just say he like he was going to stab me in the chest? Like did he literally just say that like a minute ago before like she pushed the whole table back? I'm like yeah, bro, that dude is.
Yep.
That
And
nigga
then
is-
it's crazy how he was
That-
like,
That's probably why he didn't know what he was going to say because she was probably supposed to do it beforehand, but he didn't really have anything to go from there, so he kind of just kept going along with it.
right. That's how
But
he was
once
like
she
he
stabbed him,
reacted.
all bets
Yeah.
off.
Yeah, because I could tell when he was like how he reacted, and then when you start to see how the little branch of the timeline started to go, well, he was just like, oh no. At first, I think he said, at first I thought I was knowing what was going on, but now he's just like, nah, now I don't. Like, he like, now
Yeah,
just,
right?
whatever happens
he
now.
was
He's
just
just
like,
like, it's whatever.
yeah. And what was it? What did he say after? Like when she stabbed him, and he was like, "I'll see you soon."
Yeah,
Like,
I'll
he was
see
like,
you
"I'll see
soon.
you again," or
Yeah.
something like that. I was like, "Dang."
I mean,
That's
because
crazy.
if you think of, I mean, if that was the case, he would have just kept teleporting away from her the whole time. Every time she was swinging, he just let
Yep.
her just do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm like, I know, like, I already know. I'm like,
Toying
we
with
gonna for
her.
sure see this dude again. But I'm like, he for sure gonna be. He ain't gonna be like that type of character we seen. He probably might be way more ruthless. He probably might be doing. That's all I was
Oh,
wondering.
he
Like, if they
is,
might kill
man.
her character off. That's all I was wondering. Like, bruh, he gonna for sure gonna come back for her in some type of way for sure.
I was like, bruh is just really toying with her right now.
Yeah, bro. Like, I
Like, he
feel
really
like,
toying with her.
yeah.
He was
I really
funny though.
feel
I did
like,
like him. How like even when they was arguing the whole time, you just see him in the back just like reacting to it. That was just hella funny to me. Like I'm like that was just that dude was
yeah, I ain't
funny.
gonna lie, bro. I ain't gonna lie. when I when they first got there and then the door opened, I was expecting to see like somebody that actually looked like he who remains, like all ugly and stuff, right? I didn't expect to see this black dude like
Right.
cape, like being heckin' goofy. I was like, wait
Exactly
a minute.
right. That's why I was
But-
like that
I ain't
was
gonna lie,
hella.
I was expecting Loki though. I was expecting a variant of Loki.
right? But like an evil version, or like one that was like hecka wise, but like older, kind of. I
Yeah.
was like
Like
you
just
know,
showing Tom
like,
Hiddleston with like none of the wig on, but his actual hair, just being like, yeah, this is me.
yeah,
Man.
yeah, that would be crazy. That would be crazy. I was like, oh, okay, like all right. And then when it got closer and it showed the face, I was like, that's the actor they got for Kang. I was like, oh shoot. And then, but then in my head, I was like, I know they ain't like. I was just like, because Miss Minutes already said who it was. She was like, he who remains. But then I seen the actor for Kang, and I was like, I know Kang ain't. I was thinking at first, like, Kang was like the henchman for him or something. Like, he was going to bring them to, like, this being. But then I didn't realize that was, like, actually him. I was like, damn,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Yeah, because I
That was
already had a
variant.
feeling it was gonna definitely be him because they was like this whole episode it seemed like they were just explaining like the variants and the different versions of like these characters. So I'm like,
Yeah.
and when Marvel confirmed that he was gonna be Kang the Conqueror and I seen it was him,
Yep.
I'm like this already just gonna most likely be a different version in this timeline with
Yep.
this Kang. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
probably, especially when we go in Multiverse of Madness, we gonna probably see the Kang with a helmet and all like that. My thing is like,
Yep.
what is his purpose and reason behind him having all the armor and all like that? Because there must be a reason of why he has to have it on or something like that. Like I don't know if it's because
Right.
he's based off of like he's somewhere in space or something like that. It could be that. I don't know. It could be a reason why.
Yeah. Two.
That's all I was wondering. 'Cause I was like, I know they ain't gonna just go straight up with the blue face and all like that starting off like going forward. Because even with like.
Yeah.
Even when they first showed Thanos, like they didn't really show him with the full armor like he had on from the comics like that. He just had like just some of the stuff on. They didn't really show him with his full thing on until like Endgame like that. So I like how they definitely try to build like some of these characters are so where it's like you could put some of their flashback like costumes in there. You can put the original ones up in there like. Cause how we seen Scarlet Witch now, cause it's like when we first seen Wanda, bro, it was nothing like how we know Scarlet Witch from like the X-Men and all like that. But it's like now they can validate that now. You know what I'm saying? They built that up.
Yep.
So I'm like,
Mostly because they got the rights to do it. Because honestly, Kang, I think before they acquired Fox, I'm pretty sure Kang would have actually been more of a Fox character versus Marvel. So the fact that they're actually doing this now, I'm like, okay, because Kang is more of a what is he more of a Fantastic Four villain or is he like a more of an Avengers villain?
I feel like he's more of a connection with the Fantastic
Four.
Four, but it's like like you said, he's like a big major villain, so it's like he plays a part into mostly all these characters mostly, but it's really like the Fantastic Four for sure because I think it's with Reed Richards. I think he's like the main villain to Reed Richards. I think.
That's what I was thinking. So I'm like, okay, if he's more of a Fantastic Four villain, then that means that he would have been more so a Fox, like a 20th Century Fox character to be played for. But because Disney acquired Fox, I'm like, okay, so now because they got Kang and MCU, they can definitely bring along everybody else. I mean, obviously because they were going to do Fantastic Four anyway, but the fact that they actually did that, I'm like, okay, they're doing this a lot sooner than we thought.
Right. Yeah, bro. They definitely is.
Yeah. Yeah, Kang is ruthless, man. He's I mean he definitely is like, you know, as far as like controversy goes, he's I mean they can bring in a lot of characters because I mean he's had run-ins with so many people like Fantastic Four obviously, Avengers, X-Force, like Cable, because they're
Yeah.
both like involved with time and stuff
Yeah,
like
Kevin
that.
like Bishop. Yeah.
Yeah. There's who else? Apocalypse, because remember Kang also had a variant named Rama Tut, who was
And
like
keep in
back in
mind
like the Pharaoh days.
if you keep in mind if you got Cable, that means you also got Cyclops and a portion of Jean Grey as well,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they
because
do
he
play
is
a
their
part. Yeah,
child.
he is a
Well,
child.
mostly
Right? Yeah,
Cyclops.
that's what I was thinking too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So I mean, they could. I mean, obviously, there's so much. I mean, now, bro, everything really up in the air now. Like they can bring, they can bring so many new characters in, and then obviously, like with the shows and everything that's been coming out with the new cameos and end credit scenes of like the Thunderbolts forming and stuff like that. Like and then obviously with the new movies coming out, they're trying to do Sinister Six. Like it's just so much like new
So
characters they can bring in. It's like dang, like
so before we get into full MCU,
yeah.
is there anything else we gotta talk about with Loki? Because if we're gonna talk full MCU, man, I got some questions. I got some questions and
Loki,
connections.
yeah. I don't really have nothing too much for Loki because now I mean Loki just
All about to
Loki
say.
just Sylvie.
Loki opened up that door,
Yeah.
and we're waiting to just step right through it.
Right.